Assalamu alaikum. I was a bit tired from walking around from previous videos. Anyway, so I thought I'd do an in-house one today. So there was a few questions in the comments from the last video about zakah, specifically as it relates to how do you calculate zakah if you have different types of carats of gold, if you don't have pure gold. Also, urud al-tijara, stock that a person might have for trade. How do you calculate the zakah and those things? So we prepared a little presentation focusing on how to calculate the zakah. When we was presenting this or preparing this part of the video, it dawned upon me and came upon me how difficult the thing may actually be. So here we go. So what we've got here is an example of the most important part of zakah as it relates to us in the West. We're not farmers, we don't raise cattle, but what we are interested in is money. What we've got here is some gold. We've got some gold here in bar form for those who want to invest in gold. Alhamdulillah, I was able to find someone who lent me their bar. We've got a gold coin here, also for those who want to invest. A golden ring here, and also some earrings. So here's a ring, here's an earring. It's important to note that when it comes to gold and also silver, we have different measurements of purity. Now, purity could be measured in either out of 1,000 parts or 24 parts. The highest purity you can get is 9999, which is practically 100%, but they can't say 100% because there may be something in there. And then we go down in various levels. So when you look at rings or earrings or jewelry, there should either be a 3-digit number, which indicates its purity, 999 being 24 carats, 750 being something like 18 carats, and so on and so forth. Another way of looking at gold and understanding the purity of gold is in terms of carat with a K. So it can either be 9 carat, 18 carat, 22 carat, 14 carat. So if you have 24 carat, that means out of 24 parts, you have 24 parts of gold. And so on and so forth with 18 carat. Out of every 24 parts, you have 18 parts is gold, and the rest of the 6 parts is something else. And the lowest is 9 carat. That's very low. That basically means that out of 24 parts, only 9 of those parts is gold, which means the majority of it isn't actually gold. That's very important because if you have 85 grams of 9 carat gold, you don't actually have 85 grams of gold, and therefore you don't have nisab. So if you look at some jewelry has different kind of markings at some point on it, depending on the level of gold it is. With rings, you usually find it on the inside of this ring. As you can see here, we see 21K. That indicates the purity of this item of jewelry. But this earring, for example, might be a challenge to find exactly where the markings are. As you can see here, it's hidden right there with that 750 marked on there. That indicates that it is about 18 carats of gold. So it's not the pure 24 carat, it's mixed in with some other materials. The gold bars should be clear markings. As you can see here, 999.9. As regards to the coins they're manufactured to be exactly the same, and they're all made exactly the same purity of 9999 at 1 ounce of gold. So if you take our ring here that we have, and you want to place it onto the scales, it would be 1.798 grams. So as this is only 21 carats, if we were to divide it by 24 parts, 21 of those parts would be gold. So if you do the maths, 21 divided by 24, multiply that by 1.799 or 98, and that gives you the total of 1.574 grams of gold. So 0.224 grams of this ring is not gold at all, and we ignored that in our evaluation. The same will apply for earrings. We've got here, put that into the scales, we see 1.757 grams of gold. This is only 750, i.e. 750 out of 1000. In this case, we will divide 750 by 1000 and then multiply this grams here by 1.758, and we get 1.31 grams of the earring is gold, and the rest is something else. So although this process may feel like some big long tax return, going into nitty-gritties as to how much gold you actually have, it's very important for us to know exactly what we're dealing with. Gold is the basis for a lot of Islamic transactions, and specifically as it relates to zakah and interest. So it's very important for us to have good knowledge of how to identify gold and gold ratio so that we can make the right decisions when it comes to paying zakah. Now that you've learnt how to work out how much gold you have in your possession, let's now take this information along with the money you have in your bank account and in your pocket to work out, do you have the minimum amount, which is called the nisab, so that zakat is eligible to be paid on your wealth, so we can fulfill this very important obligation and pillar of Islam. So with regards to calculating the amount of gold we have when we have an array of different types of gold from different carats from our jewelry, we have included in the description below a link to a spreadsheet, so you can place inside there the weight of gold jewelry you have under different categories of gold, and it will give you the total amount of actual gold you have out of all your jewelry. So what we've got here is a zakah calculator. We developed this calculation to take into consideration what we just learned about the different types of gold and silver that one may have. So the way it works is this: we have this table here which displays how much gold you have and how much zakah you have to have and whatnot. But how does it work? What you do is we have these tabs here at the top. We have zakah breakdown, which is the breakdown of how much zakah you have to pay if you have to pay it. We have what's called the gold list, and we have what's called the silver list. So here's just a table we put in the items of gold you have. So here you put the date you acquired that number of that, you came into possession of that item. A description which you can put anything you like, it doesn't matter really. I'll just put it here for your own benefit, but it doesn't matter what it is. You can just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you wanted to. Gold purity, this is you choose from a drop down list. So here we have gold measured in carats or measured in thousands, and you have the weight of the item, so weight it in grams. So you just put in the details here. I've just put random information here, and same thing here for silver. Put in the date you acquired it, a description, and the purity of silver is different. We don't have carats, we have 999, which is pure silver, 925, 800, and 500. These are only measurements that the silver comes in. So find the measurement on the item and put it in, and how much you have of that. So I'll put, again, random information here. And once you've done that, if you look at the breakdown shows you, first and foremost, a pie chart, you could say, of the gold you have. This yellow bar includes a total nisab of the item of jewelry. So if you have a gold ring that weighs a kilogram, then it shows a kilogram. Whereas if that gold is, let's just say 18 carats, then this bar shows you how much of the actual gold or the item is actually gold. So you can see 9 carat, vast majority of the weight isn't actually gold. This is the only amount of it that's gold. And this has a little table. It just breaks down what it is. So we have carats, which is a measurement of carats. Another measurement in the thousands. Then we have the just percentage, just for your knowledge. Don't worry about this. This is now the actual breakdown. Now, although I have a long list of items here, we can only see here that in 22 carats I only have 1.2 grams. In the 9 carat I have 2.54 grams. And the reason being is because although I have many items here, I bought them very recently. So it takes into consideration when you purchase them. So it only calculates the items if you have them more than an Islamic year, which is 355 days. Anything less than 355 days, it won't be considered or calculated here. Then it calculates how much of these items is actually gold. So it takes into consideration the percentage, and this is how much of it isn't gold. So you can see here, although we have 2.58 grams of 9.9 carat, only 0.953 grams is actually gold. The rest of it is something else. So it gives you the total of gold you actually have. This is what we want to find out. How much gold do you actually have? And this is why we said sometimes calculating gold can be a bit complicated when we consider the different purities of gold. And likewise of silver. Again, we have the total weight of each item. How much of that is actually silver, how much of it is not silver. And also, again, this only calculates that which you had for a year. That's why this date here is actually important. If you don't remember the date you purchased it, just put anything before 2016 and it'll be included. But if you put a date which is less than 355 days, it won't be included in the calculation. And now here's the important part. So let me zoom in. So this now includes your savings in money. Now I'm going to explain this in the next video because how much money you have is a bit complicated. Money is weighed or measured in gold. It's not measured in the value of the money. So £2,500 is not nisab, but it's the equivalent, how much gold you can purchase with that £2,500. So it's a bit complicated here. All you need to know is that here you would put the minimum amount of money you've had in total throughout the year. So your money has gone up and it's gone down. Maybe you've had nothing at one point and therefore you put 0. But if the minimum savings you've had throughout the year was whatever it is, you put it here, £2,000. The actual savings you have right now, that's important. So whatever you look in the bank balance, just go to your online banking, see whatever you have in there, count up whatever you have in your change in your pocket, whatever you have, whatever's money is yours, calculate it and put it all together, add it all up and put the details here. Now these two figures, again, it will become clearer next video what they actually mean, and it will calculate how much gold you had minimum throughout the year and how much you have right now. And this is now evaluating the money you have in grams of gold. Now, to be honest, we don't really need to see these two columns, so I could just hide them. That's not really necessary for you to know. All you need to know is how much you had minimum, how much you have right now, what is the highest nisab this year, and what is the nisab right now. That's all that needs to be done. So we'll talk about this a bit more in the next video when we focus on fiat money and converting that fiat money into zakah. And then we have here an important part here. This is where we want to find out the details. Down, this is the nisab of gold, 85 grams. And this is the nisab of silver, 595 grams. This field here calculates the percentage of gold you've had throughout the year to the nisab. So you've only had minimum of 2.47% of the nisab. So you hadn't actually reached full nisab. If you had reached the full nisab, then it will say 100% or more, but you don't have full nisab. Same for silver. Based on the calculations, you've only got 0.59% of the nisab. So therefore, is it above nisab? That's the question. Is it above nisab? The answer is no, because it's only 2.5% of the nisab, and it's only 0.59% of the nisab. So both gold and silver is not above nisab. How much is zakah? Zakah is 2.5%. But how much zakah is due? No zakah. These are all formulas are calculated automatically. You don't have to change anything here. It's just telling you the end result. Now, there is a difference of opinion amongst the scholars as it relates to whether you combined the nisab of each gold and silver to make up the nisab. So if you had, for example, 50% of the nisab in gold and 50% of the nisab in silver, you put the two 50% together and you get 100%, and therefore you pay zakah. Whereas the other opinion is that you don't. Now, again, we'll talk about this a bit more later on in the following videos. But needless to say, Imam Shafi'i, he stipulates that you don't put the two nisabs together because gold is gold and silver is silver. And the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said you pay this amount of nisab on gold and this amount of nisab on silver. And they never said to combine the two. Just like you don't combine the zakah, the amount of sheep you have with the amount of cows you have, you pay zakat on them individually, so therefore you pay zakat on your gold individually from silver. But if you take the opinion of the majority of the scholars, not the opinion of the Shafi'is, which means you combine, then you press this button here, combine, and it will combine the two to see if you've got the nisab. And again, we'll talk about this later on. Do you add the value of money you have to your zakah? If you say add money, it also includes that. So if you notice here, your gold percentage of nisab we had went from 2% when I added went to 2.27%. And that's including, I'm factoring in how much money you have in your nisab of gold. Now, maybe you're wondering, why did I include the money in the gold, not the silver? Again, we'll talk about it in the following videos, but needless to say, These toggles here are for those who have different viewpoints. They want to factor that in their calculations. So let's now have a look at this one more time. For those who like to keep things simple and straightforward, all they want to know is where to put the details and where's the answer. Let's have a look again, very simply. So you've just downloaded this document. So you go to your gold list. None of this stuff is relevant to you because it's not yours. So let's just delete that. Delete all of this. Delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Oh, delete it. So therefore, you should have nothing. So now you want to say, okay, I got some gold. I bought a gold coin, which was in January the 1st, 2012. Gold coin. It was 24 karat. And it was 1 ounce, which is 31.01 grams. And you got a gold bar. Let's say gold bar. No, let's just say, and you got a year after that, in the 11th of the 1st, 2013, another gold coin. Again, gold coins come in 24 carats. Again, 31.01 grams. And you got a gold nugget, 1st of the 1st, 2016. Just say nugget. And let's just say it wasn't pure, so it was 14 karat gold nugget, whatever. And that was 10 grams. And you also got, this year, you got 100 grams bar of gold, which is at 24 karat, 100 grams. Silver, you're not really a silver man, but you have got some silver. Let's just say you got something. And you got that in 2015. Let's just say you got a bar of silver. I don't know why. You did. And it was purity, it was 100, and you got 100 grams of that. And someone gifted you a year after that, because they liked you so much, 2 bars. Bar 2x. And I don't know, maybe it was less purity. Let's just say that one. So that was 200 grams. Okay. So if you come down to the zakah breakdown, this now shows you how much zakah or how much gold you have. So you have 63 grams of 24 carats. You have 10 grams of 14 carats, which gives you 61 grams of gold, and you have 5.83 grams of gold here. That gives you a total of 67 points, whatever. Same thing with silver. This is how much silver you have in the highest purity. That one, this is how much grams you have. That's how much grams you have in total. Now, as for money, there was a time when you had nothing, but right now you have £2,000. And leave this as it is. So then what that gives you, the breakdown is, you have 79.75% of the nisab of gold, and you only have 43.68% of the silver nisab. So individually, you don't pay zakah on the gold, and you don't pay zakah on the silver. But you may be asking yourself, but wait, have you not got 100 grams of gold here? At least. Yes, but if you look at when you purchased that, you got that this year. This hasn't been a whole year you had nisab. So it's not considered, not counted. So therefore, at the moment, as it stands right now, you don't pay zakah. Okay, how about if I take the opinion that you combine the nisab of silver and gold? You press combine, and now you do pay zakah. Why? It's because here is practically 80%, here is 43%. Add those two percentages together, you get more than 100%, which means you get the full nisab. And therefore, you pay 1.695 grams of your gold in zakah, and you pay 6.498 grams of silver. Now, it's just basically simple. You take this amount of grams of gold, find out how much that much grams of gold in money is, and you pay that in zakah. But bear in mind that if you were to delay, this amount of grams remains the same. So the money might go up, might go down, but if you were to delay paying your zakah, maybe this is what you had to pay last week, last month, you still pay this amount in grams, not in pounds. You always have to refer back to pounds. Okay, another factor. Let's say I want to factor in money as well. So this is only on the gold and silver I had. It didn't factor in this in the calculation. So if you want to factor in the money that we have in our nisab, if I press add money, you see that the percentage nisab doesn't actually change. And the reason for that is that although you have £2,000, there was a moment in time when you had nothing. So at that lowest point, we don't factor that in your calculation. However, if the lowest point I had was £200, then you see it will change the amount of nisab I had, because at the lowest point in the last year, you had £200. So here we put it back to zero, so it doesn't actually affect the nisab. So we'll only factor in the nisab of gold, because that's the only thing you had throughout the year. And as you can see here, there's still no zakah to be paid, because there was one point in history whereby the minimum you had was only 79.75%. So even if you factor in, combine the two, it doesn't change. But if you had the opinion where you combine the two together, the two opinions, so you combine the nisab of the silver and the nisab of gold together, you do pay zakah. But if you look here where you say add money, the amount of gold you pay changes. Now, you pay more because you're factoring in the money you have right now. So this 1.695 grams of gold of zakah you have to pay is only on the gold. But if you factor in also the money you have right now, then this is the amount of zakah you have to pay on everything, on your gold, with the money, and also on your silver. If you just want to find out the nisab of the gold, then that's what you pay on your gold. Anyway, we hope you found this useful. We haven't finished with this topic yet, to be honest. We've still got to discuss what is the highest price of gold, what is the current price of gold, and the fluctuation of nisab throughout the year. Tomorrow, we will deal with how do you calculate your gold along with your money to work out your nisab. As you can imagine, the nisab, or the minimum amount you need to have of gold, is 85 grams of gold. However, when it comes to money, money is measured in its value in gold. So although the weight of gold remains the same, the actual value of the money changes every single day, which is a bit more complicated. So tomorrow's video will be covering exactly how to work out the nisab based on our fiat, or our printed money. We hope you've enjoyed this video and benefited a lot from what we've said so far. Please press the like button, subscribe, slam the bell button, and spread the word, I guess. Assalamu alaikum.